everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining yet another episode with us. Today, we have Sylvie Franquet, who is a conceptual artist from UK. And as always, I'll let Sylvie introduce herself to begin with. So, Sylvie, over to you.
Hi, I'm Sylvie Franquet. I'm Belgian, actually, but I live in London for the last about 25 years. I've been an artist for about 9 years. And before that, I was all kind of other things. And I make needle points. I unpick needle points and I change the gaze and the color and I add words and like a kind of graffiti on top of masterpieces of art. So that's sort of my thing. And I also make sculptures.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, Sylvie, for that introduction. Now, as all the other, the content that I've made in my YouTube channel, I ask two very specific questions to each of my guests. I'll start off with my first one, which is more to do with medium.
Okay.
So, a lot of young artists, they're very clear in terms of the kind of narratives they want to build, the kind of imagery they want to build. But how do you choose the medium, and how important is the medium when you're creating an artwork?
Good question. I think the medium chooses me because I'm a self-taught artist, and I've always sewn and done crafts and collected objects, and so I have a head full of ideas, and then what comes out is sort of a bit of a sort of mystery to me, really. It's not my aesthetic. What I make is not my aesthetic. But I started doing the needle points because it's as if by sewing text, I can combine my hands and my mind. And so that's the medium for me, is that I can, out of the chaos of my mind, I can bring it out in a structured way somehow. And so it started coming through sewing, and then it kind of moved into sculpting. And so it's more because I haven't been trained in any art form. I haven't been trained, and I don't know how to use paint. I don't know how to sculpt. I would love to paint. Like, I would really love to paint in oil. I have absolutely no idea how to do it. I would love to sculpt in stone, but I can't. So because I have so many ideas in my head, I'm actually happy that I can't do these things because I have to resort to things that I can do. So I'm limited by my own weaknesses in a way, which I in a way love very much because that's part of the work. I think it's a sort of it's to do also. I sort of always think, how did the first ever artists start making work with what they found? It's what was in their head that they wanted to bring out in whatever way. I don't think it should be confined to anything. I want to be in touch with that magic. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
It does.
it's sort of, I think that's why I say I think more conceptual, because I have all these ideas in my head. So the visual is a complete surprise to me. It's sort of, I have these things in my head and then this comes out of me. And it's like, whoa, really? This is so funny. Like needlepoint, I used to hate needlepoints, that kind of sewing, because I didn't want to follow the pattern at all. And then suddenly I started doing this, and like by subverting the pattern, I could really express myself, because that's so, I don't know. I think sometimes maybe, I don't know, if you're like a really good painter, then you like, you get very concerned with exactly painting what you have in your mind. I like the flaws. So I think experimenting is really what I want to do. So it's trying to get my ideas in various forms out. I find it hugely liberating to experiment. I mean, with everything, with my life, with my travels, with my work, experiment is really what I'm interested in, see where it leads me.
I guess the key word really is experiment, and don't sort of stick to one medium. Okay, Sylvie, thank you. Good advice. So, Sylvie, I'll move on to the next question that we have for you tonight. And that is to do with traveling. You travel quite a bit, and a
Mhm.
lot of artists do. How important is traveling to your practice, and how does it actually help you?
Ah. Um, Again, difficult question because, I have always traveled. And so who I am is what I am is because of traveling. So it influences my art in that way that I'm a person who's traveled a lot to the Middle East, especially to Egypt, to Iran, to India, and I'm fascinated by the early beginnings of humans. I'm fascinated. I'm not really interested, sort of, as much as where we are now, only in connection somehow to how. Where do we come from? What happened to us? Why are we so different? And so traveling hugely informs me because I see these early civilizations like Egypt, like Mesopotamia, like Iranian culture, like India. Um, they have things in common, which means that there's something before that. That there's a beginning of humanity. So I think I'm informed by. I think I'm interested because I travel a lot and I'm interested in these early civilizations, in how art came into being. And that is informs my art. Most of all, I'm a collage artist, here. And then travel again is a perfect medium for collage because you get bits from everywhere that you can connect in a way that maybe people who just go to India won't do. That goes in my notebooks with drawings and sometimes, yeah, images.
Thank you, Sylvie. Thank
All
you
right,
so much, Sylvie, for
Lanjan,
spending time with
have a
us.
good time. Don't